This is Project Management for You.
Are you a solopreneur, individual, or small business owner who struggles with ideas and lacks converting those ideas into reality?
Do you underpromise, afraid you won't deliver?
Learn the least you need to know to start your path of turning ideas into reality and delivering on your promises.
Each episode is designed to help you get things done.
Welcome to Project Management for You with Cesar Abade.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to the 12th episode of the Project Management for You podcast series. I am Cesar Abade, your host, and it is great to have you here with me once again. On this show, I bring you my conversations with some of the best project managers I know as we try to break down and explain project management to you so you too can start turning your ideas into reality, delivering on your promises, and getting things done by using project management principles and ideas. As you probably know by now, I am running a Kickstarter campaign to help me fund the costs of my first book. And the name of the book is Project Management for You. And as this series airs, be sure to visit projectmanagementforyou.com to check out the crowdfunding campaign I'm running to help me with the costs of self-publishing. And this campaign is going to run for the month of October 2014, ending on November 1st, 2014. So if you are listening during this time, I'd appreciate your support. Visit projectmanagementforyou.com for more details. Today, I bring you my conversation with the pragmatic and delightful Johanna Rothman as we try to break down project management and explain it to you. Johanna Rothman, known as the pragmatic manager, helps organizational leaders see problems and risks in their product development. She helps them recognize potential risks, seize opportunities, and remove impediments. Johanna was the Agile 2009 conference chair. She's the current AgileConnection.com technical editor. And Johanna is the author of Manage Your Job Search, Hiring Geeks That Fit, Manage Your Project Portfolio, Manage It, Your Guide to Modern Pragmatic Project Management, Behind Closed Doors, Secrets of Great Management, Hiring the Best Knowledge Workers, Techies and Nerds, The Secret and Science of Hiring Technical People. She's also writing a book about agile and lean program management. She writes columns for stickyminds.com and projectmanagement.com and writes 2 blogs on her website, jrothman.com, as well as a blog on createadaptablelife.com.
Today's special guest and project manager extraordinaire is up next.
Hello, Johanna. How are you?
Thank you, Cesar. I'm great. It's so nice to be here.
Thanks for being on the show. You are a project management giant. You wrote books. you consult. You have years and years of experience, and it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. And let's see if we can bring some of these wonderful project management ideas to people who might not be familiar with them. What do you say?
It's my pleasure. And it's so funny you refer to me as a giant because on a very good day, I'm 5 feet tall.
I couldn't tell you by your picture.
No. It's not that I try and hide it. It's just so funny. I think I'm going to tell my husband tonight. I think that's hysterical.
That's cool. What? You make I just picture one day if we ever meet in person, I'm just going to give you a big bear hug because I'm 5'11", so.
Oh, then that's awesome. I am doing the happy dance right now.
All right. So, Johanna, as a giant, right? How would you define project management to the layperson?
So, you need project management when you have risk, right? You can use a checklist for when you don't have risk. When you go to the grocery store and you need to get stuff, right? That's a checklist, right? You know how to go to the grocery store. You have to get in your car. You get some stuff. With any luck, they have it. When you're cooking, it's almost always a checklist, right? You follow the recipe, well, unless you're like me and you improvise a little bit. But a project is always a risk-based thing. So you have to manage the risk And projects never unfold the way you think that they should. And that's the issue about projects, right? So you have to be able to adapt to whatever is in front of you. And that's the thing about projects. So they always start, with any luck, they end. But it's sometimes they don't. That's also very interesting. But the real issue about projects is you have to be able to adapt to whatever the reality is in front of you so that you can manage that reality and get from where you are to where you want that project to end. And that is the thing about project management. So without the risk, it's kind of a checklist, right? Where do I want to be tomorrow? Mm-hmm. But a project has risk, and it's all about managing that risk that makes it a project.
I'll be honest, I never heard it put that way, but it does make sense because everybody can do a to-do list and kind of come up with an idea of, okay, this needs to come first and then that and then the other. But but if things don't work as planned, then what? You need to do another to-do list based on that, and then you get stressed out and things start to get out of control, correct?
Yeah, and to-do lists are just not good enough, right? That a to-do list doesn't have the idea of how do we adapt? How do we take in other people? How do we manage our risk in maybe in an adult way? Yeah, is that? I mean, I'm the first to say I have the sense of humor of a 6-year-old. So, so it's not that we have to be serious all the time. Yeah. But how do we manage our cost risk, our schedule risk, our interactions with people risk? Right. Right. This is really the key. And what happens when we have an emergent project where we are not in charge of the end date? So all projects involve risk. And when we start thinking about them that way, then we can start thinking, what kind of approaches do we really need to take to manage that risk? And that's when we really start thinking about, now I can really say, here is how I want to manage this project in this way. Okay. Right? Because every project is different.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and also, as you said, it helps with a simple to-do list does not help you deciding or figuring out how much something is going to cost to complete, how long it's going to take, how many people, what kind of people I'm going to need to bring in to help me do this,
and how we have to adapt in doing this project. Right. Yeah.
Very good. All right. So let's say the listener right now is interested in project management. So in your opinion, what is the least people need to know about project management to kind of start getting on that path of getting things done and being able to manage it effectively beyond the to-do list, as my friend Eric J. Fisher calls his own podcast?
Yeah. So I think for the minimum required from me for a project is you need to have a vision, right? Where are you going? And if you don't know where you're going, anywhere is fine. And you need to know what done means for the project. Now, you might not be in charge of what done, where you end up, but you need to know what does success mean for this project? What are your exit criteria, right? How do you know when you're done? Because if you don't know what done means, you can just keep going forever, and that is not successful. So you need to know what done means, you need to know what success looks like, and you need to know your vision. So where are you headed? What does done mean? And now you have kind of a box. Well, it's not a very strict box around this project, but that allows you to say what kinds of approaches are reasonable for this project? Do I just want a straight approach? Is this a project where a waterfall or serial life cycle makes sense? Do I need to adapt as I go? I'm from the software world, so I have many kinds of life cycles and approaches at my disposal. And I have just finished a house remodel, a very extensive house remodel with a terrific design build contractor. They used iterative approaches with me, right? They iterated on the design. We must have gotten, 6 designs before we settled on the one that we wanted. And then we iterated on the different rooms in the house. I even blogged about the painter gave us different swatches on the wall so that we could say, this is the kind of green I want in my office. This is the kind of blue. This is the color green in the bathroom. This is the color purple in the hallway. Because I really like greens and blues and purples. So, right, my colors are not your colors, but we got to iterate on everything because you need to plan. There is no project I cannot imagine that you don't need to plan. But I don't know of a project that you don't need to replan. Mm-hmm. Right? Maybe there's a 2-week project or a 3 or 4 week project that you don't need to replan. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Right? So when do you need to replan? And that adaptation in the project is something that only you know what you need to do for your project. So some of your listeners will have very, very short projects, and maybe you don't need to replan much. But some of your listeners will have 1 or 2 year projects and projects that will cross boundaries in their organizations. Excuse me. And how do you replan with people who don't report to you? Well, that takes influence, right? But when do you choose to replan? That's a question that I cannot tell you, but you need to be ready to do so.
Very well said. All right. So let's say then, I really believe that project management, is also about bringing ideas to reality, right?
Yep.
So, in your opinion, what are the stages of bringing an idea into reality?
So this is where that vision thing, really, you need to understand where you're going. And you need to get buy-in from the people on the project, right? Do they understand where they're going? Do they have this goal in mind? And if I was to work with everybody in the world on a project, then we would have short-term deliverables. I really like projects where we have milestones that you can see every month, if not every couple of weeks. Now, some projects just do not lend themselves to that, right? If I have worked on hardware and mechanical projects where you have to iterate on design because the cost of going to something in physical form is way too high, right? That just doesn't work. But you can iterate on the design and see the design come together in very short iterations. So what makes sense for your project so that you can see something come together every couple of weeks or every week and get people excited about the progress that you're making? I think the key is, how does everyone on the project agree that you are making progress? Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know what's right for every single project, but that's what you want to get to. You want to have everybody agree that you are making progress, or everybody agree that you're not making progress. and then you can do something about it. But it's that visible, tangible progress. And I like to call it deliverable-based milestones. Now, this is kind of getting some of your listeners are saying, okay, what was that she said? Right? So think about it. A deliverable is something that you can touch and feel, right? Something that means something to your project. So in software, it's working software. It's I come from high tech, so sorry listeners, all of my examples are going to be high tech.
You can use your house.
Oh yes, let me use my house. Okay, so a deliverable for the house was studs, right? Studs in the wall for different rooms, and then plasterboard. Well, it probably wasn't actually plasterboard. Yeah. But whatever,
drywall,
whatever,
sheetrock.
Thank you. Yeah, you know more about this than I do. But the drywall was up, and then when they put the seams on, what is that called? When they put the seams in,
taping and mudding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is the problem. I only know what it looked like. And then when they had to, they actually. Well, it looked like plaster to me, but it wasn't really. They had those guys on the stilts, and they were so cool, Caesar. Oh my God! And the whole house kind of smelled funny, but they had guys on stilts putting white stuff on walls and on the ceiling, and it was extremely cool, and the house was very damp. But it was that was a deliverable. Right, so you could see that they were doing things and they were finishing one room at a time. So one of the things I really liked about this builder is that they would finish the living room and they would finish the dining room and they would finish, it was actually called Johanna's office on the blueprints, which I thought was hysterical. And they would finish the master bedroom and they would finish the guest bathroom, and they would finish the master bathroom. So they would finish one room at a time. That's a deliverable. So when you finish each deliverable at a time, that's a deliverable-based milestone. They didn't say finish plastering. They said plaster each room, and that's a deliverable-based milestone. So when you add all of them together, now you can say finish plastering. But if they had just said finish plastering without saying finish the living room, finish the dining room, finish bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, right? If you just say finish plastering, that's way too big milestone. You got to have each room as a finished product. Now you can see where everything is going.
Yeah, and it's also you could have a framing of the whole house as a milestone, and you would be a milestone and you would be a deliverable. But framing Johanna's office, it's not only it's a smaller, more manageable deliverable, but it's a more meaningful one as well. Because once that room is done, and as a milestone for the stakeholders, I mean, in this case, you and your family, that means so much more than just having the whole house framed. You can actually see and touch and see yourself in that room. And if you decide to, that you don't like that contractor anymore, you want to move on to another one, hey, you have a room that's ready.
Right, and that one of the things that I really like about deliverable-based milestones is, first of all, you can see them, well, in the example of a house, you can see it in a few days. I'm very big on inch pebbles as opposed to milestones. Yeah, I didn't make that up. It turns out that some guy in the Air Force made it up in the 40s, but I started writing about it in the 90s. Because I fell into the 90% done schedule game. But my very first summer out of school, right? My very first job. And this is when you You get to the 90% done accomplishment for a task, and you realize you have the other 90% done to do.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone who's been working for any amount of time has been stuck in this. And the nice thing about small deliverables is they help you not get into the 90% done schedule game. This is one thing about project management. You will always estimate wrong. Always. Because if nothing else, Murphy's Law, right? People are working together on something. Somebody gets sick, right? That's Murphy's Law. You can't help it. People are always going to get sick. So the task gets late. If nothing else, that's what happens. But in this case, you can actually see small chunks of work, get done. And that's the value of having small chunks of work. You can say, oh, now I understand what happened. Okay, it's not the end of the world. And when you are working for somebody else, which almost always is what's happening with project management, if you have small deliverables like that and other kinds of deliverable-based milestones, and you are delivering something every week or so to the customer, then when you say to the customer, Joe got sick this past week, so we only can deliver 2 rooms, not 3. The customer says, oh, I'm so sorry Joe is sick. Is he all better, or is he going to get better? They don't even care that you didn't deliver 3 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a totally different conversation than, why didn't you deliver me 3 rooms?
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that deliverable-based milestone thing is a really good idea. And then that allows you to replan the rest of the project. You never make up time, right? This business of making up time, I don't know. Who came up with this? You can't. But you can replan the rest of the project so that you can minimize the effect of losing time.
Okay. Very good. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. The deliverable-based milestones.
Yeah.
And keep them small so you can move forward and you can have quick wins, and everybody gets a nice fuzzy feeling.
Yes.
So if you could recommend, so let's see, you and I know there's a lot of tools, techniques related to project management that corporations use. So if you could recommend one technique from the project management world to the masses, to the every man and woman, what would it be, and where can we learn about it?
So the one technique that I use almost all the time in my work, and the one technique that I have been teaching for, I hesitate to say how many years, is that of time boxes. You can time box anything. And the nice thing about time boxes is you set how long the time box is. When you time box something, you say, I will work on this thing for X number of minutes or X number of hours or X number of days. And the nice thing about a time box is this is especially good for something you don't want to do. So I really hate cleaning my office. I hate it, right? So, and every so often, the amount of stuff in my office overwhelms even me. And I say, okay, I will take 10 minutes to clean up my office. And in 10 minutes, I have put stuff away, and I'm a happy woman. So, and then at the end of 10 minutes, I can go back to my regular work. So that's called a time box. Now, by definition, the work is done at the end of that time box. Now, what a time box allows you to do is to get started on something that you don't even know how to do. It just allows you to say, I'm going to take this amount of time and start something. Because, and especially a 10-minute time box says, I'm not going to get overwhelmed. I'm not going to say, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to check Facebook instead. I'm going to do something else. No, you have the discipline of the time box. And especially when you work with other people and you all get your heads together on something, then you really get the benefit of the time box. Now, in software development, we use Agile as a way to use time boxes to focus the team's effort. But you can use time boxes for absolutely anything. So I like to use time boxes for my writing, especially if I have no idea what I'm going to say. I use a time box for things I don't like to do, like cleaning up my office. I use time boxes for all kinds of things. And I find that they give me a focus because I know I'm only going to spend X number of minutes. Mm-hmm. And so for me, a time box is a really valuable tool. So I think that that's a good one.
That's yeah. And when I had you on the PM for the Masses podcast, you talked about that because you talk about that on your book on managing your job search.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of the Pomodoro technique. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
yes,
it's the same idea, isn't it?
Yes, okay. It's exactly the same idea. You focus for a certain amount of time, and then you get up and walk around and clear your head.
Yeah, go check Facebook if you want to.
If you want to.
Yeah, it's great because, okay, I'm going to work on this for 25 minutes, and I know that I'm going to have 10 minutes after that to do whatever I'm itching to do right now, be it, whatever, check Facebook or have the little snack or whatever it is. It not only helps you with that time box. Okay, I just have 25 minutes to work on this thing I'm not looking forward to, but it gives you something to look forward to because, hey, in 25 minutes I'll be done, and then I can go do that one thing that I want to do.
That's right.
So you're saying this is an agile technique?
Well, we use it in Agile a lot. A lot of teams work in 2-week time boxes so that they say, here's the work I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks. And if you're not Agile, you can decide, I will work in a time box for a day, right? So there's a technique called spiking, where you have no idea how long this thing is going to take. You cannot even estimate this task. Mm-hmm. And it's a really useful thing to say, let's have the team work on something for a day and learn about it.
Mm-hmm. And then reevaluate.
Okay. Yeah. So
off the top of your head, do you know where we can learn more about the time boxing and maybe the spiking and these techniques?
Well, I wrote an article about spiking, and I'm happy to send you the URL.
Okay.
The time box, let's see, I guess in Manage It, Your Guide to Modern Pragmatic Project Management, I talk a lot about time boxes because I'm such a huge fan of time boxes. I think I also have stuff on my blog about time boxes. So I will... if you like, I will find some blog posts and send them to you.
That would be fantastic, and I can just add them to the show notes for this episode, and then the listener can go and learn some more about this because I agree it's a great technique and it's a great tool from it's been known by the project management world, but I think it could be brought to the masses and people will benefit.
Oh yeah.
And Johanna, the next question has to do with people. So managing projects usually means working with other people. Even if you're by yourself, creating writing a book or creating a product, you're going to have to sell that book to people. There's always people involved. Or you're going to have to delegate or bring people in to help you achieve that. So in your opinion, what's the best way that you know to know when and what to delegate, for example, and to compel people to collaborate on a project?
Well, let me suggest that you don't want to compel people to collaborate, but that you want to invite people to collaborate. Mm-hmm. That you want to make it so compelling. That's where the project charter is so important. That you want to have such a compelling vision, and you want to write this vision with the people on the project, if at all possible, so that they want to work on this project. And partly it's all about you. That you have to be the kind of person that people want to work with. So you have to be the kind of person that people say, I really want to work with that person. I wonder what it's like to work with that person. So you have to be the kind of person that people say, she or he is not going to grab all the good stuff for him or her. So it means that you want to do a servant leader kind of behavior. I have some blog posts or pragmatic managers about servant leadership, so I will send you that stuff too. You want to act in a way so that you are helping people be the best people that they can be, as opposed to grabbing all the limelight for yourself. So when you say to your management, or even to anybody else who'll listen, hey, look how great this stuff was. I succeeded because of my team. That's when people say, wow, I really want to work for this person. I have been very fortunate in that I have worked with many, many people like this in my life. And I learned how to do this from a terrific manager, and then I decided she was so good I would just copy her. So I found that as a project manager, the more I gave credit, the more I got people to do what I wanted them to do. So I just gave credit, and that worked for me over the years. And I found that that's, the servant leadership thing really does work. It sounds like a bunch of hooey, but it's not. So as a project manager, if you try and do the work on your project as opposed to doing the leveraging work, you are probably doomed to failure. So you have to do the leveraging work. You have to remove the obstacles. You have to do coaching work. You have to do the stuff that allows the people on the project to do the heavy lifting. And that's how I've been successful. That I say to the people, please tell me what you need so I can do the heavy lifting. And that's what I do.
Very, very useful. Yep. And you understand, people are people, right? They want to be recognized. They want to to be given work they're good at. And when you give credit, I mean, not only is it effective to get them to do what you need them to do, but it's fair. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And this business of being fair is people know when you are not being fair. People know when you take credit for their work, and they don't want you to do that. And they will start looking for another job. But if you do treat them fairly, if you say, here is what I need you to do, or here is what I need the project to finish, and you do you know about Dan Pink's Drive, where people work for mastery? What are the three things? Of course, I'm on an interview. Who can remember? It's I remember mastery, and then the other two are just gone.
That's fine. I'll
Okay.
add that on later.
Okay, thank you.
Post, yeah.
But as you can tell, mastery is one of the things
Yeah.
I really get off on.
Uh-huh.
But it's those three things that people really want, and being able to get recognition from their peers. So that's the other thing I really like, of course. So of course, I can only remember the things I really like. So we are such humans, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I think the key is figure out what people really like, and then make sure that you have given them opportunities so that they can get it. I know it's really easy to say and really hard to do.
Yeah.
But if you treat people like humans and you create an environment in which people can be great humans, then they will give back to you more than tenfold. Right? People, my approach is always that people want to do a great job. They always want to do a great job. And if they don't know how, then make it easy for them to tell either their colleagues or you that they don't know how. But it's almost always that they do know how, and something in the system is stymieing them. So make it easy for them to bring you bad news, and make it easy for them to talk to their other colleagues. And if you do that, then they will deliver everything that they need to deliver.
Beautifully said. That's all you need to know. Now, Johanna, people listening right now, they some of them will be involved in project management. Other people are just attracted to the show because they want to learn how successful companies are doing it. And for the listener right now, what is your final thought for the listener who wants to learn and use project management to get more done and maybe work better with people and basically get things done on within time, budget, and scope?
So think pretty hard about how you work with the people. If you must use a tool, remember that the tool reflects how you work with people. I happen to not be very big on tools. I'm very big on stickies, because for me, the stickies represent the visual representation of what we do in the project. So it's not that I'm against tools. I'm very happy if a tool works, but I want to work with people much more than I want to work with a tool. And so if I have a geographically distributed team, okay, I might need to use a tool. But I want to make sure that the people recognize that I want to work with them more than I want to work with a tool. So make it easy for people to work with you rather than have to work with a tool. It's a people-oriented application, right? It's not a tool thing that you're doing when you manage your project.
Beautiful. Very nice. Johanna, thank you so much for your time today. And if people want to learn more about you, about your awesome books, where should they go?
They should start at jrothman.com, JROTHMAN.com. Everything is there. And my blogs are off of jrothman.com. So I'd love to email with them and talk with them.
Great. Johanna, thanks again for talking to me, for being on the show. And hope to talk to you soon, and good luck with the house renovations. It's almost done.
It is. And thank you so much, Caesar. It's always a pleasure.
Don't forget to check out Caesar's new book, Project Management for You. Available now at projectmanagementforyou.com.
So there you go. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Johanna Rothman. Johanna, as you can tell, she's a delightful person, and she's really, really a wealth of knowledge when it comes to project management, hiring project managers, being hired as a project manager, and risk management. So be sure to visit her website and check out some of her books. I read one of them, which is the Manager Job Search, and it's really, really good. So if you are a project manager, or if you are in the field of project management and you're looking for a new job, I think that book is mandatory reading. So go to her website or go to pmforthemasses.com and do a search for her name, and you'll be able to find my interview that I did with her a few months back on the PM for the Masses show, where we talk about managing your job search like a project. Very good stuff. So I hope you get to do that if you are looking for a job. Now, if you are enjoying this show and like to go deeper, maybe getting a step-by-step approach to using project management to start turning your ideas into reality, delivering on your promises, and getting things done, head on over to projectmanagementforyou.com and consider backing this Kickstarter project. And many of you have done so already. And as you have realized, I've been mentioning some of your names here. I'd like to mention some new names that are there on the campaign that have come out to back this project. So I'd like to personally thank Marie-Lisa Chartrand, Anita Vincent, Wade Wingler, Lawrence Jardine, Laura, I don't have your last name, Laura, Evan McBroom, Craig Herman, Cody Fournier, Brian Kahn, Eric Fisher, Rich Maltzman, and Matthew Kidner. There's a lot more, but that's all I can do today. Thank you so much for your contributions, your generous support of this project, and it is thanks to you that it looks like this book is gonna happen. So thank you so much. So that's it. That's what I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Johanna, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And until then, remember that life is a project and you are the manager. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you for listening.
Tune in next time for more inspiring interviews and key information to help you get things done.
Want to learn more? Go to projectmanagementforyou.com and order Caesar's book, Project Management for You.
Your path of turning ideas into reality starts now.